So this is things like this. This is why I wanted rid of this old harness. I mean, that's the main battery cable, and there's just bits like that all over the place. I'm a little confused here at the moment because I've now got the new harness laid out here. Now, this is the side that goes into the van, so I'll just pull that up there. However, now, this was advertised as being just the primary harness for that connects. That's your starter motor, but we've got extra bits to it here. Now, everything here, I assume, goes to the engine. But if you look here, we've now got this length here. I need to go and have a look at the wiring diagram. I think this has got the rear lights in as well. I'm not sure, but it appears that this has the rear light harness in as well. In which case, I didn't need that, but it doesn't matter. That's actually the trailer wiring. I might have a trailer to do in a few weeks' time, so that I've got a job for that. But yeah, I think this incorporates everything up to the rear lights. I mean, I'll be happy if it does. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll be very happy if it does, but I'm going to go and grab the wiring diagram and just check everything on here. But yeah, up here. Yeah, I mean, up here, this is everything that comes. These all connect up to the bottom of the... let's get these up here a minute. Right. Yeah, because these all go into the wiring connectors. These all go to the fuse box. I don't know. Yeah, because that's everything for the starter motor. And that one there. This is for the alternator. Oh, I think it goes to the voltage regulator. And this. What do we have there? We have that's just plastic connector, yeah. Everything there goes to the engine, and I think these are the rear lights. I mean, what do we got? We've got, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I do recognise this one here, grey, and the grey with the red tracer. I'm sure that's a rear light. This one here, these two I think are for the fuel tank, for the sender unit. And then got this other side here, but yeah, not sure what those two are, but yeah. Well, I'll be dipped, as you see on Vice Grip. Anyway, I'm going to go grab the wiring diagram, come back and take a look at this, but yeah, this will make me happy if it is. Okay, so rear lights. We have red, black trace, grey, red trace, black, white trace. So where are we at? Maybe this side. So this side. Let's just get out of here. So yeah, grey red trace, black red trace, black blue trace, and here it's white. But yeah, it's definitely got the wiring harness, the rear light harness in, so that saved me a lot of work. I am going to have to basically not redesign, but rethink the fuse box on how I'm going to lay it out, because I was planning on having to actually make my own harness. So I was wiring this, I was basing my wiring diagram on actually using this. So I'm going to have a bit of a rethink on that. But yeah, I'm rather happy about that. That's made life considerably easier. Now, obviously, I don't know if you can see this, but this is way more flexible than the old harness, so it should be easier. I may have already drinks myself, but it should be easier to get this routed in. So, plan for this morning. The old harness, obviously, I had to cut that out yesterday. That was just yeah, everything was just too solid on it. It couldn't flex. But the new harness, and I had to start drop it on the floor. But as you can see, this is nice and flexible. So I'm going to start at the rear and feed it all the way through. In theory, I think that should be fine. That. Like I said, the old harness was just old and solid, and it just didn't flex very well. So, but yeah, let's just get into doing it. Well, there's the engine compartment all done. Everything basically up over the axle, and honestly, it wasn't that difficult. Like I said, this harness, the new one, is way more flexible. And yeah, so run to the rear lights. Basically everything's in place. I haven't connected anything up yet. I've got the fuel tank sender unit to connect up, and I've got a few earth connections and everything to make. Right now, all I'm concentrating on is getting the harness into place. And yeah, so I'm going to move along the side here. We'll get her installed all the way down and into the cabin, and then we can start figuring stuff out. But yeah, it's moving along okay. They're quite happy with how it's going. Okay. Well, there we go. It's through. Now there is a rubber grommet to go on down there. I haven't put that on there yet. Well, it is actually slid onto the cable, but I haven't got it pushed into place just yet. So what I'm going to do now is the fuse box is going to go down here somewhere. I'm going to keep it in its original location, but what I need to do now is some stuff I've got to figure out over here. I've got to figure out what I'm doing with the switches and everything. So although I've got the switches installed in the dashboard, I'm going to take them all out now so I can go inside and sit there with a test meter and just figure out what I'm doing here, because it is going to be slightly different from the way VW did the whole under dash thing. So yeah, let's go around and do that now, and then I think it's probably going to be tomorrow before I actually get to doing anything more in here. But I'm exactly where I wanted to be. I needed this done today so that if it does start raining, I've basically got the harness, because I can work inside now. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with how this is coming along. So let's go and get these switches out, and then yeah, I'll sit for the rest of the day indoors where it's warm and dry and figure it out. So I am sitting here working on the wiring diagram. Now this is basically my version of the diagram in the workshop manuals. However, my switch, come on, it's not going to do it. But basically my switch does not correspond with this diagram. For example, red and black, black with a yellow tracer, that one there, on my switch is over here. These two here are actually up there, and there's an extra terminal up there. What else? This one here seems to be, I don't have that one, but this red here seems to be where 57 is. And yeah, so it's different. So basically we have an extra terminal, put that down, have an extra terminal here which connects these two to there. And yeah, so I'm going to have to figure this out. This is why I wanted the switches out, because I had noticed that there were some discrepancies in the wiring diagram, and this switch, I'm pretty sure it hasn't been messed with. This looks like factory wiring, so yeah. The only one that seems to be in the right place is this one here. Actually, have I got that the right way around? I need to double check that one, because on mine this is white with a black trace, where on this diagram I think that's black with a white trace. I think I've got this one the wrong way around. I think this should be white with a black trace, but I'm going to check that now. But yeah, that's 56. That's the only one that seems to be correct on mine. Okay, I'm not sure how well you're going to see this, but I haven't got the wiring correct on here yet. Just to point that out, I've just been actually renumbering the switches. So that is my switch that I've got. That's the layout for the switch that's on the wiring diagram. So you can see there is a bit of a difference there. So I'm going to redo the diagram to match my switch, and yeah, then we'll take it from there. But yeah, this is, like I said earlier, and I think I've repeated it a couple of times in the video, this is why I wanted the switches and everything out, and just to compare everything, because just early on I started to notice discrepancies. So hopefully by the time I get this finished, it will actually represent my van. And like I say, I will make this available if there's enough people interested on it. So, because it does actually take me time to actually do a poster size version of this. I mean, I'm looking at several days work, so you know, it's but if there's enough people interested, I will go ahead and do it, and I'll put it on the on my store along with the Jeep one. So anyway, let's get on with it. Okay, so now you can see the difference. And we'll go up to there. Now, as you can see, 58B is populated on this switch. On my switch, 58B does not work. It doesn't do anything. Contact's there, but it doesn't appear to do anything. So everything else has remained basically the same, except for, where are we at? Actually, it is 58B. On mine, it is connected to 57. So 58B here was for the dashboard lights. On my switch, it is 57. Now, these two here, these are both marked 30, and these both have a permanent feed coming in from the fuse box. Black and yellow, black with a yellow tracer. That comes from the ignition switch. This one here, white with a black tracer, that goes to the high-low beam switch. And we've got grey, which goes to the front side marker lights. Here we've got, it is red with a black, try that again. We've got grey with a red trace, and we've got grey with a black trace. These go to the rear side of marker lights. So that is everything on the switch now figured out. So one thing I do need to figure out is, although the rest of the wiring does appear to be the same, one slight difference is my headlamp relay. And I don't know if you can see that there. It's light's not very good in here, but it's got 5 contacts rather than 4. The wiring diagram shows 4. Now I do know that you can buy either a 4-pole or a 5-pole headlamp relay. So this controls your high and low beam. I need to figure this all out, because what appears to happen is that your column mounted switch, when you flip it on to high or low beam, you just pull it back and it sends a signal to a ground, I'm assuming somewhere on here, and the ground flips the relay, and the relay, I think, stays in that state until you hit it again, which flips it back, which gives you your high and low beam. So I do need to go and figure this out. I think I might go and grab the fuse box now, and then, yeah, sit and work this out. But again, I will leave both designs in the actual wiring diagram. So yeah. Again, I've said it several times, this is why I really need to sit here and figure this out, because my system seems to be slightly different. And this is one of the things I'm finding with the 74. And maybe this is what the issue is, why I couldn't get an actual, well, it's basically behind dash harness for the 74. Maybe there's just some differences that the others, the later models, just didn't have. So I don't know, whatever, but let's go and grab that fuse box. So this is the basic layout for the 4-pin relay. Now the 5-pin one appears to be wired slightly differently, and if you give me a moment, I'll bring it up. Okay, so can you see this? We've got an extra pin up here, pin 30. Now the relay in my van, these are all fine. However, this one here, which is, I believe, is this is the switch, which I'm assuming is the S, which switches from high to low. My fuse box does not have anything connected to that terminal. Now, it looks like there's been something there at some point, but there's nothing there. So I'm kind of assuming that has been pulled out. Something's happened to it anyway. Now this one here, 30 appears to go back to the fuse box. And I cannot really determine what that fuse does, because in the other diagrams, I'll have to have a look again, but yeah, anyway, this pin here, pin 30, goes to the fuse box. Now it is a red cable, red wire. So I've got to assume that this is missing. This, I assume, I don't know what that's for, because this delivers the power. This is your main power in to the relay, and then it switches between, I think, high and low beam. I'm not sure which one's which, but basically 56A takes you to either high or low beam, 56B takes you to either high or low beam. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what this number 30 is for. I'm going to have a dig around, see if I can find any more wiring diagrams, but I'm not holding out any hope, because like I say, everything that I've found so far, it's been for the North American models. And US lighting regulations, there are some variations, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to have a bit more dig, and then, yeah, if I find anything, you'll be the second to know. Okay, we've solved it. So, to begin with, I found a wiring diagram for North American 2-litre bay, and it has the 5-pole relay. So, what I've discovered is 56 on the 4-pole relays provides power to the coils in the relay and to high and low beam when it's switched. However, in the 5-pole relay, 56 only provides power to the coil for the actual relay itself. High and low beam power is carried through 30. So, my conclusion is this, and I could be wrong, I mean, I admit I could be wrong, but my conclusion is this, that 73 and maybe 74 with transition years, so they've got a little bit of the old and a little bit of the new, and it's down to you to figure out exactly what you've got, because some of this, such as the switches on the steering column and everything, they seem to be the earlier ones, and so pre-75. However, some of the wiring for the van seems to be post-74. So it seems to be a combination of both. Anyway, got that figured now, so we can just I'll move on and start, well, constructing some more of this diagram. But I'm glad I got that figured out. It was starting to drive me a little bit nuts. But yeah, it's coming along nicely. It's a bit of a headache earlier, but we got there. And yeah, so I will see you tomorrow. Well, it's morning. I've been out for a while. It's supposed to start raining shortly, so I figured let's just get some of this sorted out. So what you're looking at here is several years of wiring on, doing wiring on vehicles. Usually what happens is that I've always got some left over, so what I tend to do is I just spool it up, and then just I've got a box that I just throw it all into. So this is basically what I've got left over from several projects. Now, I may have to buy a couple of colours, but I'm okay with that. It's mainly the headlamps. I only have a small amount of, where's it at? Yeah, I mean, that's all I've got. I need yellow and I need white, and I really don't have enough yellow. And the white that I have got, it's just all little short runs, except for that one big bit there. But I'll probably buy the yellow and white. Otherwise, I think I've got enough colours here to basically stick to the actual original VW wiring colour codes, which is, I'm really trying to do that. I'm trying to stick to the original colours as much as possible. So for high and low beam, I need yellow and I need white. So that's only two colours I don't really have much of. It's okay. Anyway, what I want to do before I really get into actually laying any wires down is I want to figure out exactly where I'm going to put the fuse box. Now I'm probably going to use its original location just to make it easier. But the other thing I want to do is I want to get that cowling on there painted. I've also got the switches for the turn signals, what have you. I want to get all that back on, get the column up into place, everything tightened down, locked into place, and then when I'm doing my runs, I know everything's where it's going to be, finally going to be, if that makes sense. So I think I will get on and I'll do that first. Okay, I've got them there just hanging drying. I've had the heat on, so it's a bit warmer in here. But I've done the steering column. But what I'm going to probably do before I really get into doing anything in the van, see all of these like ragged edges, I'm going to trim those back, and I'm going in, I'm using these. Now, I've used these before. I'll put links in the description to all of these, but it's basically like the Deutsch style connectors. That's what I'm going to use on the van. These are all going to be hidden, so it's not like they're going to be obvious or anything, but they're just, I like them. They're a little bit more complicated to fit, but they make a really, really nice job of it, and yeah, they just work well. So I've also, they just arrived yesterday afternoon. I've got some brass connectors. Basically, let's go out here. So basically it's just brass terminals like these, because one of the things I do want to do is, where are we at? See, we've got this here, which I believe now is for the, there's a fan that I think it basically blows air up into the cabin. I'm assuming it's going to be hot air because you can get cold air from the vents at the front. But yeah, so basically it sets the fan away, and I don't know whether it opens a flap or something like that, but I think that's what that does. At least on the wiring diagram, some of these cable colours kind of match it, so I believe that's what that is for. I don't have the fan. That is something I do need to investigate. But the other thing, where are they? I know they're in here. There. Now I do have the plastic outer for this connector, but there's another one somewhere that one there. I might reuse that, and that's what I bought the brass terminals for, because it needs the brass terminals to go inside. So I might reuse these, but then I don't know. I'll see how it plays out. I may reuse these, or I may just go in with the Deutsch connectors. I do need one of these for the windshield wipers, and there isn't one on the harness, on the original harness, so I don't know what happened to it. Anyway, I've pulled this one out because one of the things I'm finding is that I'm just not finding them with the 5 terminals online. So what I'll do is I'll just pop these connectors out, and again, like I say, I've got replacement brass ones, so that I can use for there. These are, I've got loads of these. I just keep them every time I do anything with wiring. Basically all it does is it, see, you've got a piece of harness there, it just goes on the harness, and then you tape around it, and it just gives you just a little anchor point there to anchor the harness. There's several varieties of them. These are actually Ford ones, these, but yeah, I've got like a spattering of them. I just keep them then. They're handy for doing anything like this, and yeah, that's basically it. This is an old bit of the harness from under the dash. Oh no, this is actually, this is the battery cable, sorry. This is the negative battery cable, but you see the conditions of these. I mean, this is just in really, really bad condition. And there's bits of harness here that I've hung on to, mostly just for reference. That's all I'm really hanging on to these bits for, just for reference. But anyway, I'm going to let this paint dry, and then we'll come back out and we'll get on with it. And it's raining, but I am going to try and get some of these, just some preliminary work done on these anyway. So, like I said previously, I do have to use small sections of the original wiring. So it's the switches for the turn signals, indicators, and for the windshield wipers, also the ignition switch. So what I'm going to do to begin with is I'm basically going to trim these cables back until we actually get some nice clean good stuff, and then put these Deutsch style connectors on, and then I can actually just fit these back in onto the steering column. The actual connections on the ignition lock, on the steering wheel, on the steering, I'm going to use the connectors that came with the wiring harness. So yeah, then I'm going to get into basically doing some basic wiring on the switches and everything. But going to concentrate on this to begin with and just see how far I get. I'm still unsure about the actual wiring on the wipers themselves. Do have some dry days coming up, so what I'll play about with those at that later point. But initially, let's get these done. So these connectors are quite simple. So basically, what you've got is you've got several components. So with this one, because these two grounds go together, I'm putting like a double one on there. I was going to put one of the different ones on, but I'm going to put like a double one on there and then a triple one here. Now, what you have is basically you have a rubber seal which goes onto, where are we at, which slides onto the cable. You then crimp the correct tip on. Now, obviously, some of these are like little plugs, and some of them are like the little pins. Well, sockets should I say, not a plug. But go on, focus. Yeah, so it's like a little socket there. And some of them are like a little pin. Now, if you look in the ends here, these plastic tips pop out, and so you choose the one that's associated with that side of the connector. So, like that, we'll go with this. Then, of course, there is a other end to that, which is that there, and so the pin will go into that one. Anyway, so basically what you do is you slide the rubber sleeve on, the little silicone sleeve, you crimp the correct end onto the wire, and then they basically just push in and lock with these little plastic tabs, and that's it. Very simple, it's very straightforward. You do need a smaller set of crimpers for these. These are smaller than your normal ones, but yeah, if I remember to, I'll stick a link to this kit. I bought it off Temu. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them on eBay. They're all the same basic kits. You can also, there are a couple of electronics places online selling them as well. They are more expensive, but they're basically the same kit. So yeah, let's get onto it and let's get this all hooked up. Okay, so there's the first two crimps made. Now that will slide into there. The two rubber silicone sleeves will go up behind, seal it up, and then this plastic will press down and lock it into place, in theory. So you might notice that there's two different shapes to these, basically where they fit together. Anything that has power coming to it, for example, the power coming from the steering column, I will use these deep ones so that the pins are buried deep in there. So even if it is disconnected with the battery still hooked up, if it touches the bodywork, there's plenty of plastic around it to protect it shorting out. And then obviously switches are what everything that's downstream will get this type. But yeah, there's the first one anyway. Let's move along. Tell you what I might do, I might actually move into the conservatory. It's because it is chilly out here, and these are small connectors, and my freaking hands are cold already, and I've only done one, and I'm struggling to pick these up. So yeah, I might just grab all of this and just move into the conservatory, where at least it's a bit breezy here. It is damp. It's bit of rain there. You can see the windows all covered now since I've been standing here. So yeah, let's do that, and then we'll come back out here when we'll get it all done. Okay, so moved in here now. It's I mean, it's still, it's a conservatory, so it's still cold, but it's warmer than being outside. Anyway, let's get back to this. We're going to get these 3 done now. Okay, there we go. There's the first pair done. What I'm doing is I'm just finishing it off with just some fabric harness tape, just to tidy the ends up and everything, and just to keep it all together. So I'm going to move over to this side next, and yeah, I think I might need to trim this back a bit further, but yeah, I'll take this plastic back and do the same thing on this side. But I will go with a 4 pin one on this one here. But yeah, it's coming along okay. Okay, there we go. There's the first one's done. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Glad I bought these. Like I said, I've used them before a while back. I did a project that I didn't really record. I think I mentioned it earlier in this video, but the guy I did a bit of rewiring for, he didn't want a video made, so you know, that's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, they worked well on that, and they're going to work well on this. There's a lot more to do on this, but anyway, what I'm going to do next is I'm basically going to start at each switch and work my way out. So the next stage is basically match all of this color coding. Let's go and hit my stash of wires or cables, and then we're going to match all of these colors up. So, and then basic plan. How I like to when I'm doing like virgin wiring like this, what I like to do is I like to start at the switches, then work out. I'll put a big long length of cable on each color that I need, then put the switch into place, and then I'll route the cable to where it goes. And that way, what you can do is as you get each one put in, you can then just start putting little bits of tape on them, just to start making the harness up. And once you get everything in place, you know exactly the lengths you need. And it's the same goes with, you know, you might have 2 different pieces of cable, you know, use these as examples. But what you want to do is, you know, you want to try and match everything on them. So when you do actually wrap them into a harness, you get equal lengths, and everything just it comes out a lot neater. Then basically the fuse box will be the last step in the road, and then it just everything's just cut off and terminated correctly at that point. So I've been out hitting my stockpile, and I just realised there are a couple of colours here that I just do not have. So I'm going to make up as much as I can, and I'm going to see if I can order some lengths of these online. The maximum length I need is like 6 feet, something like that, 5-6 feet. So I don't really want to start buying full rolls, but I'll get done what I can, and then I'll make a list of what I need, and then just take it from there. But yeah, I knew that I would probably run into this problem, because I am trying to keep the wiring as close to the factory colours as I possibly can. I mean, I may have to change a couple of things up toward the end, but at this early point, I want to stick to factory colouring as best I can. Okay, so we are moving along. So what I'm going to do with this is, there's no point in me just constantly recording me doing little bits like this. So I'm just going to plug on with it today, and we'll come back to it sometime later, and we'll see how far we get along. But yeah, once I get this taken as far as I can, then I'm just going to move on to doing the switches and everything as well. And like I say, I'm basically just getting them cabled up at the moment, and then going to figure out getting them into place, wire lengths and all of that, when that's all done. I am short of a couple of colours. I am going to see if I can source those. If not, I'll have to modify the diagram to compensate, but I'm going to try and find them to begin with. quite often you can. These came from, I think these came from eBay. Yeah, so yeah, otherwise my other option, which I don't really want to do, but I can always hit the junkyard and cut out some harnesses, bits of harness, but I don't want to do that. I want to try and keep it all new as possible. So, and for anybody that's wondering why, what happens is as copper wire ages, it builds up resistance, especially when you're getting to the age of, like, so this is 50 years old, and I just prefer to use new where I can get it. But yeah, anyway, let's just carry on with this, and then we'll come back to it later and we'll see how far we've gotten along. Well, I know it doesn't actually look like I've gotten too far, but I have actually gotten a lot done today. Basically, this is everything I need. Well, this is everything I've got for in here. Also that down there. And I have now been able to place an order for the stuff I don't have. It's actually worked out quite well because there's only one colour that I can't get, and that is the black with a grey trace. So I'm substituting it for a black with a blue trace, but every other colour I've either already got or I've been able to order. So tomorrow I am going to pick up a battery for this. It's not a new one or anything. I'm just borrowing it so that I can actually get a battery connected to it when I'm ready and start testing the electrical system. But I will get some more work done in the morning, and I'll probably get a little bit more done on the wiring diagram tonight. There's a few bits and pieces that I want to actually check out. I do have some other stuff ordered. It'll all be here this week anyway. Otherwise, everything's kind of just falling into place. So it's not a fast process, this. This is a slow process, and yeah, that's just the way it is. I've still got all of that in the back there. I'm just going to leave that there for now. It can just sit there. I am putting a couple of additional circuits in this. This harness does not have the rear fog light in. Now, the European buses do have a fog light on the back. I do have the switch for it, but this one does not have the heated rear window. So I'm not sure if the heated rear window circuit is actually in that harness. I need to check on that, because if it is, then I'll just use that circuit to power the rear fog lights. I also have fog lights to go on the front of this, and I've even thought about a set of spotlights. But I don't know about that yet. That's still open for debate. But definitely have a set of fog lights for the front of this, so they will be going on. One of my previous videos, I had them mounted in there. I'm also looking at LED headlamps. Not the really sort of space age looking things. I want something that looks kind of factory-ish. So the other thing I've done is they're not permanently fitted in there. They're just stuck in for the time being because I'm getting water going in through there, so when it's raining hard. And you might notice I've got the roof popped up like that at the moment. What I'm finding is happening is I'm getting water pooling on the roof. And so I am going to do what I've seen on a couple of American camper vans, and that is just put a drain in under there, and it'll just drain down onto the plastic here and off. So, but I'm not doing that yet. The wiring is what I'm concentrating on. So it's cold out here. I've had enough, and I'm going in. See you tomorrow. Well, that's me finished and all packed up for tonight, and I will be back working on the van tomorrow. But you won't see me until next week, because I think this is a good place to bring this video to a close. So I've got quite a bit done. It doesn't feel like it at times, but I am making progress. So there we have it. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Have a good one.